Good morning, Chabrim. We're holding in Chaye Moharan Resh Lamed. Today we're sitting in the Suda for the Ilu Nishmat of Noach ben Shlomo and Meir ben Yosef. Nishmatam should have an aliyah. Amen. So here, what we're speaking about yesterday, just a few minutes here, is that there is a purpose why we came to the world. We didn't come to indulge. We didn't come to amass. We didn't come for all kinds of things which are pleasurable. There's a lot of things which are pleasurable in the world, but they're not an ends in itself. They're a means to an end. The real end is only to serve Hashem. You came to this world only to come to the realization, to know God, to come close to Him. And actually, you could ask a question, why create a world where we're so far from Hashem to come close to Hashem? The next world, you're actually very close. And here, it's almost impossible to find Hashem. You got to look in the books, you got to read, you got to do a lot of mitzvot, you got to refine yourself. But even that, you're still looking. Do you see Hashem? You talk with Him. Does He talk back to you? He does, in His ways. Well, the answer is, if you would be too close to the energy, you wouldn't be able to come close. It's like if you're too close to the sun, you're going to burn up from the energy of the sun. The fact that we're millions of miles away from the sun, that allows us to have heat from the sun and have an independent existence. So Hashem will create this existence with a big world, with a lot going on, but the matara in this world is to use the world to come close to Hashem, and not the world for itself, a purpose in itself. Now in general, 99% of the world don't follow through. There'll come a time where we're gonna reveal the master plan. That's called Mashiach, and then this knowledge is gonna be spread out to the world, and then everybody's gonna jump on board. Oh, I didn't know it was that. For example, people used to think overeating was healthy, and you couldn't marry a girl was skinny. She couldn't get married. Came to realization it's not healthy to overeat. It's better to be slim, eat small amounts of small meals, eat healthy things. You're gonna live a longer, healthy life. Same thing with money right now. People think amassing wealth is healthy, but it's actually detrimental. Shlomo HaMelech, who's the smartest man in the world, said, I'd rather have my parnasah b'ito, not to be poor, not to be rich, to have your parnasah, to live by what you need. Much more healthy way of living. The world's going to come to that as well. The world now is in a switch where you see that everything is moving towards this purpose, where Hashem is getting ready to soon show the world that the point is only to find Him, to serve Him, and to know Him. I'll tell you how in a second how. And He's taking away all the chores that a man would have to do for the last 6,000 years. Cleaning clothes, making clothes, cleaning clothes, getting water, getting flour, getting oil, all these things, building a house, firewood, would take up most of the person's life, most of the person's day. Person was working, nobody was working to, maybe there's a few, landowners and people who had animals, but most people were just busy with chores just to sustain themselves. Survive. You had a Shabbos, so you could take off, you have to prepare everything before, so we'd have a moment to reflect and to come close. But the world is now going in a way that soon you're not going to need to work. Everything is going to be better. It's just in medicine. I'm looking up these things, which I would have had to go to a doctor. You'd have to go to a doctor and get an appointment, and 2 or 3 doctors. And here in AI can tell you in one minute everything you need to do. He's going to give you the diagnosis, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, natural remedies, which level you are, everything in a few minutes. And it's only going faster because soon as they get robots, it's going to go very, very quickly. So the whole world is going to eventually come to that place where Hashem is going to show, this is the tachlit, you're not going to need to be so busy with the world anymore. The world's on autopilot, and you, the Jewish people, will be the ones bearing the message and sharing the message with the world. That's it. Now, we want to get there before. There's a mitzvah to taste the food of Shabbat before Shabbat. You have a mitzvah. There's a mitzvah before, the holy day comes in, to start to dress up, to come to Shabbat early, and that's a little bit what we want right now, to get into that frame of mind before it's forced, because when it's forced, it's not as, you don't have as much merit. So Rabbeinu said, what is preventing us? It's very simple. If you would have been raised with Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron HaKohen, Pinchas, all the tzaddikim, that the prophets, Am Yisrael, no exterior influences, no media and downtown and all kinds of things that are presenting to you a different way of living, you would have been a tzaddik. The thing is, the world, since 99% of the world is not running after the true purpose, so it affects you, and even if sometimes you think about it, it's very weak and it's very fleeting, and it very quickly, the ruach serah of the world makes you forget about that moment where you thought maybe I should change my life. Every day, every Jew, every day, has thoughts of changing his life for the better. And that's what's written in Mishnah. Every day there's a bat kol that comes from Chorev, and says, Oinem nabriot melbono shel Torah. Har Sinai, where we got the Torah, actually screams out, people, wake up, there's the Torah. And every Jew, every day has that thought. Now, depending on your level, thought could be, you know what, I should really start going to shul. Should really start putting on tefillin. Should really start eating kosher. Should really start doing Shabbos. I should really start doing. And if those are not even on your radar, and if you're a little bit higher than that, I should really go to mikveh every day, and I should really spend another hour learning every day, and I should really, protect my eyes a little bit more. And if you're not on that, the things are not on your radar. Well, it's maybe I should not eat junk food. I should be a little bit healthy. I should fix my relationship with my wife. I should, reconcile with my parents, and all kinds of good things, which are not necessarily Torah per se, but morals and good things. And eventually, if you keep working on those, you're going to get the Torah every day. So why doesn't a person follow through? Because there's so many influences. So Rabbeinu says, the best way to be in touch with yourself, which is giving you the message, is to go every day to a secluded place. To go out, and Rabbeinu will speak about going to the forest, going to the fields, and spending time there alone. And that's what Rabbeinu said over here, that you should have a horse. You should have a horse, back in this day, to be able to go to the field. Because the best thing you could do for yourself is turn off the static from this world. All the craziness from the media and the phones and just seeing the people outside. Because when you see people acting in a certain way, you will act in that way. I was now in Lakewood for a week. It's natural that people are just living Torah lifestyle. Because there's nothing else. It's thousands of shuls everywhere, big yeshivot, everybody's learning. When they were auctioning off the akafot for the Sefer Torah, it wasn't money. It was pages of Gemara. 500 pages, 1,000 pages. One guy said 6,000 pages. 6,000 pages. You're in a shul like that, you're a kid, this guy's saying 1,000 pages. That's the cool guys. The cool guys are the ones learning. So you want to learn, it's natural. But when we're living in a place that's not like that, so how do you do to make sure that you don't get influenced? So you put a time every day where you go to a quiet place and you meditate, you think about the purpose of life, you listen to what your soul is telling you. Your soul has all the answers. Everything is there. There's people who have out-of-body experiences, or autistic children, which you once saw. They know everything about everybody and all kinds of things, because they're not limited to the body. So the soul knows everything. Now your body is limiting you. So you just calm down the body by going to a quiet place and let the soul talk to you, tell you what it should guide you. You should know where you're going. So Rabbeinu said, you should have a horse. In other words, that means for us, translated for us, means you should find what works for you to make sure that you can go to a quiet place. Quiet place could be the park, it could be Lachine Rapids, it could be your office, it could be in your car, to go park somewhere. Sometimes in the winter, there's nowhere to go. I park in a quiet place, and I put on the heating, I put some music, and I make it put it in the car. That's what Rabbeinu said here. Now we're going to just read a few minutes what Rabbeinu said about himself when he would do his bodhis. V'siper az minyan hanagotav b'myan neorim. When Rabbeinu was a child, Shaya ragil ikach sus mibet chotno. He would take a horse from his father-in-law's house. He was young. He got married at 13. His father-in-law had money, a lot of money. So he would take a horse from his father-in-law. V'rachav anasus le'ezeyar. He would go to a certain forest. V'sham yarad nasus v'kashro le'zina. He would get down from the horse and he would tie to some tree. V'alach l'tor yar nasot shelo litboded sham. Now go, and he would go into the forest and speak to Hashem, make his voice. There was times where the horse actually detached himself and ran away. So he got loose and he ran away. The bet no. So he came back to the house. The horse knows his address. So he went back to the stable where he was. So now they see the Rebbe, the young man left with the horse. The horse came back. They're worried. What happened to him? Sometimes it would pour, the rain would pour. He would come home at night. Rabbeinu would spend whole days alone. He would spend whole days alone. And the problem is with what is Yishvadut? It's Yeshuv Adat. Yeshuv Adat means settle your consciousness, settle your mind, turn down the static, turn down influences. What do you want? What do you want to do with your life? What do you want that should be after 120 years you accomplished? Somebody told me that there's the president now. He's speaking about he's going to have heaven or hell, or he's going to go. He's when you get to 70, 80, or 90 years old, what did I do? Was it worth it? Am I happy with my choices? So don't wait till then to make those choices. Do them now. Do them now. But how do you do them now? You got to reflect. And that's why the rest of us would meditate every day on Yom HaMitah. They would always think. They would be in front of them. People don't like to think about that. People don't like to go to funerals. They don't like to go to hospitals. But the Chazal say it's better to go to a funeral than go to a wedding, because everybody's going there, and everybody thinks, yeah, just not me. Everybody except me. Everybody, just not me. Nobody's and that's not true. Nobody made it out alive from this world. So what's going to be after 120? Everybody has those thoughts, but since we're so busy with work, with business, with the family, with exercise, with good things, groceries, I got to get done, but that's not the tachlit. So take a moment every day to think about, what do I want? What do I want to work on? What do I want to leave behind? Which way do I want my family to go? Because you there are only an extension of your children here. The way your kids are going over here, that affects how you are there. So everybody has desire to be tzaddik, every Jew. Just the thing is, we don't let it express itself. So by being in a quiet place, alone, and just meditating on life, talking to God, talking to myself, regretting, thinking, analyzing. You make an accounting, you make a business plan, make a life plan. So that's what Yidbodidut is. And in that moment, if it's enough time every day, the accumulation of the time every day will give the person the strength to make changes in his life. It's very hard to make a change. It's almost impossible to change. To lose weight, to quit smoking, to do all kinds of things. It's not easy. We need superpower will to change. But when the person has superpower will, it's not tomorrow, it's not next week, it's now. I'm changing right now. Whenever you say I'll change tomorrow, it's not going to happen. But where do you get that will from? So there's what's called rock bottom, or there's called Yidbodidut. You just pashut put your tachlit in front of your eyes, and then naturally you will change. What happens is even more than that. You almost don't have to change. Because your desires, the Chazal say, the way you want to go, you are led. Molichin, plural, we lead you. So actually, you could get to it and say, Hashem, here I am, but I'd like to get out of this. I'd like to make a change. But it's impossible because of A, B, C, D. It's impossible. I can't. I'm in a web over here. There's other people that are dependent on me. How am I supposed to make a change? Not possible to make a change. What happens is, when you express your desires to Hashem, those desires create angels, and the angels open up all the paths for you. So you almost don't have to do anything. All you have to do is say, Hashem, if it was up to me, I would do X, Y, Z. I can't because of, but you can change anything. You can make it happen. You can open the paths for me. I don't know what to do, but I'm putting it in your hands. I want. That's all you have to do. Now, before wanting is actually settling down to know what you want. Because it takes time. You don't have to talk sometimes. Meditate. Think about it.